Once again, it's time for Off the Top Sportscast. I'm John, and that big guy right there is Roy. Roy has our topic of the day, but first, please like and subscribe. We love the feedback. We love the views. We appreciate every single one of you. Roy, what is our topic of the day?
We're going to be talking about the NBA, the NBA, the NBA, and something that really was a bust, we can say, was the Orlando Magic. They were
Uh,
the team that everyone spoke of. They were the team that everyone said, oh, they made this trade for Baines and they gave everything away. And they're a playoff team. They're a championship team. They're a team that looked like they were going to beat the one seed. They came in as an eight seed and
yeah,
they just fell apart. So
totally.
what did the Magics do? Something I knew that they would do is get rid of their head coach. Is it because he was a bad coach? No. He just was the coach for the time. So
Yeah.
we're going to talk about the Magic. So John, what do you think? What's your feelings about the Magic? And let's talk about the coach, just briefly, the coach first.
I think it's a, I think it's very funny that both the teams that we like in football and in basketball are almost in the same spot. The Bills and the Magic both have reached a point that they thought that their coaches could not get them any further. Um, I thought it was time. I thought that it was a total collapse this year. Every year we have fought the in the first round, and we have fought valiantly. We have fought really well. We've played Indy hard that last time. We played the Cavs hard the time before that. We're in it, but we just had something missing, and we thought it was shooting this year, so we brought in Bane. I think the coach let us down. I think the lack of change when it was falling apart is what made me think it was time.
Got it. Yeah, I think falling apart, the team fell apart. I think Mosley did his job. He came in to take a young team and go through the hard times. He wasn't there because we didn't have a team to go and say, hey, you got to take this guys to the championship. No, he was there to coddle, uh, nurture, help grow, and kind of go along until we get all the pieces. He
He was
did
like
just
in the Godfather. He wasn't a wartime consigliere. He didn't have that mode in him.
no, he does, and he doesn't, but he did his job. Did he fall apart at this time? If he would have beat the first seed, we wouldn't have fired him because it would have been almost impossible to fire him because they would have been like, you beat. And if we would have beat them, we very likely could have beat the Cavs. Um, so
A different animal, but yeah.
yeah, you know what I mean? So I don't think they would have fired him just because of that. But I don't think he'd had too much of a leash. So, but I do think he suited his purpose and we had to go on. The question is briefly, who do you think may go on? And I do have some names that I can give you. And I won't, there's so many names, but I'm not going to give you every name. But I'm going to start from the low end and I'm going to work my way up, at least
Yeah.
how they have it here. Number one, Mark Jackson.
No, thank you.
Okay. Number two, and I'm going up the ladder, Becky Hammond.
I would like to see that. Yes.
I like it. I like it. Now another tier, Sam Cassell.
No.
Okay. And these are assistants now. Uh, from the Celtics, Charles Lee from the Celtics.
I think that the Celtics have a lot to work with, and man, I don't know. That's an interesting one.
All
I
right.
like that one.
Coach,
I'm not dismissing that one.
coaches on the hot seat that may be available.
Hmm.
Jason Kidd,
No.
Billy Donovan.
Yes. I say no to Kidd. Why I said no to Kidd and yes to Donovan is the same reason. I've seen Donovan develop guys. I haven't seen Jason Kidd develop guys. Jason Kidd needs guys that are who they are to come in and play for him.
So far, the ones that I Ham, I think she's
Yeah.
won. She's played for a winner. She is a winner. Man, imagine that coming to the Magic. I think that's good.
She's
Uh,
also the person I wanted before they hired Mosley.
yeah, I think she got an interview if I remember. She might
She
have been
did.
in. Um, Billy Donovan, I'm okay with. He
Hmm.
has shown to be a good coach collegiately. Then he went to OKC, Chicago.
Developed guys, yes. Hmm.
Now we're going a little bit. This is the tier one. There's a lot of guys here. Scott Brooks. Um, we got which another guy I like here, but not my number one. It's coming up. Frank Vogel. I like Frank Vogel has some good pedigree,
Yeah.
defensive minded. Um, I like Frank Vogel. I don't think
Hmm.
he's gotten some enough time in some places. I think they booted him too quick.
Yeah.
Another one, Kenny Atkinson. Kenny Atkinson. Um, but the one that I want, and let me see if you know who this is. Um, he is a championship coach. He's won a championship.
Okay.
He's got a good defensive mind. Um, great with young players, but he's won a championship.
Is it the coach that got fired from the Bucks?
Yes, yes, and Phoenix.
Yeah.
Mike, let me pronounce his name, Budenholzer, or something like that.
Yeah.
Bundenholzer, or something like that. I
Yeah.
think he would be, if I, please tell me if I'm pronouncing how to pronounce that name correctly. But he was with Phoenix. He was um, the
The
with
Bucks.
Bucks. So I think he would be the best. Um, if you would tell me a coach, that would be my number one. My number two would be Ham. My number three would be
I would flip it. I would flip it because I only say that because I think we need some juice. We need to take a huge swing. Um, because the next part gets ugly. Because the next coach that comes in, I believe, you got a very short lease to fix this. Because if not, some of your favorite players that are wearing that magic blue are not going to be wearing it.
yeah, yeah. Again, you could flip it any way you want. I
Hmm.
say she's two for me. Frank Vogel three, then Donovan number four. But I would think those are the top four candidates. Now, Donovan is right now he's could be out in Chicago. She's locked in. WNBA. The other two we talked about are available. So
Right.
that would be easy. But I would interview those four right off the bat. Um, so, friends,
Let me ask.
yeah, go ahead.
Let me ask you a question. We've got a room full of talented guys. We really do. Orlando has a lot of talent and a lot of, quite frankly, young talent, right? Which is the best thing to have and the worst thing to have in abundance because it's the hardest thing to get rid of. You know what I mean? Like, who do you trade away? Who's the pieces? Who, in your eyes, Roy, to you, are give me three untouchable people that you would go, this is going to be our foundation moving forward. I would like to keep these three people.
Franz,
Okay.
you got to keep Bane. He's yours. He's yours. Um,
Hmm.
and then if that's a great question. I would have to say, if I'm thinking somebody who's going to surprise you, I'm going to go with Silva.
I want to keep him.
Yes. I think
Okay.
he's a lot prototypical Franz almost.
Hmm.
Um, I like him. I was almost teeter-tottering because with Batazi, not that he's the future, but he's a very affordable piece that seems to just do well.
Yeah.
For me, no one else is that I must have.
Okay.
But those three, I would say Bain, you have to because you gave the farm up.
That's right.
Franz, because I think the team runs very well with Franz.
It
Uh,
does.
and I do think the Silva Band, for the pick we picked him up, has proved to be a solid guy. And I think you're going to see a little bit more step up on his game even next year to come.
He's a guy who gets better as they play because when Franz was out and the Silva was in, he was getting better and better and better. Um, and then the rotation kind of changed because we started to throw Black into Anthony Blackmore, and so it kind of changed. Um, this is nothing against Paulo because I love Paulo.
But hold
I
on. Before we get into Paulo,
Yeah,
let's talk about who are the must cuts trades. Again, we're not really looking at it. Can you, who you, whatever.
right.
Right now, we're just saying that the Magics must get from underneath this bus.
Well, number one is a guy who I've been talking about for I don't know how long. Um, is Jonathan Isaac.
I agree.
Uh,
I don't know why we held on to that bus for so long.
okay, and he literally was like, I don't want to play in the playoffs if I'm not going to be in the rotation or whatever. How dare you? After the Magic have held on to you and given you contracts when you were hurt, when you had not proven the money that you have stolen from the Orlando Magic is only equal to Grant Hill, the amount that Grant Hill stole. But Grant Hill, at the very least, had a promise of greatness when he stole it. You had a promise of nothing when they gave you that money. So
Good one.
the nerve. So I don't want to see him again.
Who else?
Okay. I believe that it is time for us to go out and get a real big. And I believe that Wendell Carter is a very tradable, okay, wanted asset out there. A big who can stretch the floor, good athlete, good rebounder. I think he is one of our best tradable pieces. Okay. And I think we need something different. And I would say at this moment, Jalen Suggs is our best tradable piece. And I believe the emergence of Anthony Black makes him expendable because I thought that the floor ran better with Anthony Black on the court, and I thought that the floor ran better when Franz had the ball in his hand. So if that's the case, I much rather see us play big with Anthony Black, Franz, De Silva, Bain, and Paulo. You know what I mean? Than to have him on the court.
Gotcha. Well, I'm gonna sweep through real quick. I agree so far. Jalen Suggs, he's over $30 million, but
Mhm.
I think he has tradability.
Absolutely.
I think somebody, because of the money, are they going to fight with you? Oh, I don't know. He's been hurt and he's 30 million and all that. But I think he has some trailability. So I think we got to put him out there. I would even be willing to say, well, hey, we're going to give you him. You give us, kind of do a Bain deal. We want some draft picks. Um, you could give me some twos, you could give me some ones, you know what I mean? You could play maybe a low end big or something like that.
Hmm.
I do think Isaac, I'm not even talking about I'll pay you to go away. Isaac.
Yeah.
I also think Jet Howard, that's another young player that I think we've gone through the motion. If you're not going to play the young man, which when he played in Osceola, he was lighting it up. He was shooting it up. But for some reason, they're not giving him that time. So my thing is, if he has some quality that we can get something for, if we can bundle him, let's get rid
Yeah.
of him.
That's the only way he would have any worth is bundle, like you said.
And I am willing to even get rid of Anthony Black. Yes, financially, he's still very affordable. But I see glimmers, but I don't see star. I don't, and right now, I would be willing. Again, I told you I have some players down that I'm gonna go over that I'm gonna say I have some. I'm looking at free agency. I'm looking to change. And then last but not least, which we'll get into a conversation about, and maybe both of us will agree or none or not. I think those are big pieces. Wendell Carter, I do say, depending on the money, I'm looking to bring somebody else in, but I would like him coming off the bench. But
Too
the
much money
big,
to come off the bench, man.
well, I don't think we're going to pay that money. I don't think we're going to pay that money this year. But the biggest piece that we have that anybody, I think, we is Paulo. I think yes, he is a star. I
Yeah.
just don't think he fits in our mold. He's not one to bring up the ball. We have him playing a role that doesn't fit him. So I say again, I'm not going to go into well, let's go trade for Giannis. It's not going to happen. You know what I mean? It's not. We're not going to go. But can we go out a team, pull in somebody, a player with some draft picks? A lot of these moves, I'm looking to get picks back. And there's teams that you go, man, I wouldn't want to put them on. But these teams that go, we don't need some of these picks. We do have money, but I would say Paulo would be one that I would go. So far, Suggs, Paulo, Anthony Black,
Well,
uh,
here's the thing. If
get
we're getting rid of Paulo, I don't know how much other things we need to do. Because truthfully, that is a huge piece. And that should get us. I don't know what you want to get, but it's gonna get us that and more. He's
we
young, he's
he's
big, he's strong. He is what everybody wants in the league. The only thing he doesn't do is shoot as good as we want him to shoot. Um,
and he gets
but
himself in awkward positions with the ball sometimes, and he
yeah,
loses. I think right there with some of those decisions that I think you may go, man, you just decimated this whole roster. Yes, I agree. But we got four guys that, what is it? Franz, Suggs, Paulo, Bain,
mhm.
that are a ton of money. And I'm not saying we're not going to pay some money with the guys that I'm looking to bring in, but I do think these guys have a value on teams, will fit a different structure. We're a team that I would say defense and run, defense and run.
Well, that's what we've been. That's what we've been. So I'm actually looking different. I get the defense and run. I get it. I'm looking at shooting because our biggest problem right now is that Anthony Black, not a great shooter. Suggs, not a great shooter. And in the playoffs, as my son was telling me, he thought he was a terrorist, a basketball terrorist out there because he was just throwing up bombs. And I do not understand what he was looking at, which is also my biggest problem with Mosley. I don't know why he didn't throw in some of these guys that we know can shoot that we have on our team, like a Jet Howard, like a Jace Richardson that can fill it up. None of the guys on the floor were playing defense anyway, so these guys being a defensive liability, I don't know why we cared about it now. We were just trying to outscore people. We weren't trying to play defense. Tell me who you're bringing in, and then I can tell you because depending on
All
who
right.
you bring in is who I would want to go out because Paulo works, but he just has to have the right guys around him. We don't have those guys around him right now.
First,
Uh,
first, first guy to bring in.
okay,
Um, and you tell me I'm going to read some stuff to you. Then you tell me what you think. Marvin Begley,
okay.
6'10", power forward,
Hmm.
length, versatility, rim runner, offensive rebounder. Um, that's someone who I think would make good sense, can space the floor, 16, 20 minutes per game, creates his own shot. That's the first one who I would say that is my bringing him in. He's not that super star, but he
Okay.
can still play. First guy.
Hmm. For me, that's a guy who you go with. I'm getting rid of Wendell Carter. I'm bringing Marcus Bagley Jr. in. Okay.
So far, that's my first guy.
Okay.
I mean, what do you think about that? Do you say,
I like Marcus Bagley. Hey, listen, I think he's exactly what you need, a long, lanky defending guy who can rebound. I don't need him. I mean, he can stretch the floor a little bit. I don't need that. I need him in the trenches because I don't need Pablo banging out down there. He's too valuable for me to do that. And to me, a lot of times Wendell Carter wasn't where he needed to be, which is why I liked when Gogo was out there because Gogo was just down there ready to throw a screen and an elbow and grab the ball. So I like that pick. I think that is a nice pick, especially if we get rid of Jonathan Isaac and Wendell Carter. That's a good filling in.
next person, more bench, off the bench. He's a little bit older. Tim Hardaway Jr., 6'5", veteran, slow the guys down, no pressure,
Mhm.
high still level scorer, coming off the bench. That's the man who I think would be very good. 3-point threat, shooting threat, good presence, played in a lot of teams. That's someone who I would say, and I would say, let's go get Tim Hardaway Jr. I don't think he's
I
going to
think
be.
I think that's a very doable piece. It kind of reminds me of uh, the guy we had here last year, and I can't remember his name right now. I apologize. Who's just a 3-point guy defender.
Oh,
Um,
last year.
yeah, um, I think that's a doable piece. I think that when we brought in, because we brought in Bain and we brought in the other guy from the Grizzlies, I can't remember his name because he wasn't even here long enough for a cup of coffee. Um, I think that's what we thought he was going to be. That kind of calming presence and that leadership role. Um, but so far, I'm with you.
And so far, those two guys that I talked about, they still can shoot. I'm still,
Yeah.
everything I'm looking around really is, can guys, can they defend? Are they big? 6'5", 6'10".
Mhm.
So now I'm going to someone that the Yankees, the Orlando Magic have talked about. This one is 6'3", Anthony Simons, high level scorer, 20, 25 points per game, 27 years old. I think he's going to be a little bit more expensive, but we're getting rid of Suggs. I don't see him as Suggs money even. I would say if I would maybe think 28 for him. I would
Yeah,
like to
that
see
might be a
20.
little high. Yeah.
I would like to see 25, 22, but I think he would fit. That would be technically our, he's going to be a starter right there. He would be a starter right off
Okay.
the, and he's a guy again. Now you got Bain on the, you just got Bain rolling every now and then he rolls, then he's running in. And Anthony on the outside, you let Bronze, he's just running around. I think that could be really good.
Okay.
That would be my next person to do. The next person, this one is someone I didn't know a lot about. I saw him up in free agency, and then I started looking at him, trying to learn about him and stuff like that, and I was kind of impressed with him. He is a big hunking guy. He's 7'2", center. Uh, Walker Kiesler, Kistler. I think it's pronounced Kistler. I was looking at him, good rim protector, a young man, young defender, good rebounder,
He was
strong.
with last year. He was with
He's with Utah.
yeah.
Utah.
Okay.
I think he would be affordable, fairly affordable. I would say maybe 18, somewhere around there per year, but a big young guy that I think, again, I got 6'10", 7'2", big guys there.
Yeah. All those guys are doable, I think. I don't see anybody. I guess my question is, I see what you're saying about when you're trading Suggs away, when you're trading Black away. I mean, Black or Carter. What's the thought when you're trading away Paulo? Like, who is that guy?
Now, again,
Because
I don't know what we're gonna get when we give him. You get what I'm saying? I don't know that. I didn't
okay,
check every scenario. I'm just saying we need to do some cleaning of house. I think these guys will come at an affordable price in comparison. And if I start looking at, okay, Simons, Suggs, who's gonna be better? Simons is an upgrade.
let me throw a name at you, okay? Because I think a lot of people think that we're gonna try to get Giannis. I don't think Giannis and Paulo playing together works.
No, it
I don't.
won't. Him and Franz playing together will work.
That's right. That might work. I don't think Giannis and Paulo working together works because a lot of people are saying, "Oh, we're going to trade away Franz and Suggs and get Giannis," and I'm like,
That don't work.
we got two guys who can't shoot that well that both want to get to the basket. I don't understand how that's supposed to work. So if you're trading away Paulo for Giannis, I also don't understand that equation because I think Paulo shoots better than Giannis and can get to the rim basically, as we saw this playoffs, anytime he wanted to. He was getting right to the rack. Uh, so I don't get that equation. But now I think I have an interesting trade that would be very interesting. This guy plays different than Paulo does. And I think the combination of Bane and more importantly, Franz, if we went and got Shangoon from the Raptors, we traded Paulo to the Raptors. Okay. I'm not sure it's going to be a straight trade because I think Pablo probably worth more than Shengun.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, but whatever we get ancillary other than that, I think Shangoon and Franz, to me, play that Euroball star style. And then you throw De Silva in there, who also has won a championship in FIFA with Franz. I think those three guys bring a whole different type of basketball to the NBA. They bring it all together. They teach the other guys. Then we've got Bane spotting up for three. We've got the heart and hustle and defense that I love out of Suggs. Maybe Suggs is not in the equation. Maybe we go long and lanky with Anthony Black and bring a shooter in for, and trade Suggs away as well. That I'm not sure about. But I think the combination of Shangoon, De Silva, and Franz would be something to be seen. I think that right there, young, defensive, athletic, can shoot it, can get to the rim, can play make. I mean, I don't know what Shangoon has that you wouldn't need, but I think that right there to me, is a trade that I would go, okay, I have to think about this.
This is the problem with that. I think he's 6'9", forward. I think he has some upside. Elite, when you talk about, they say physically elite, playmaker, passing, defensive, could do the 3-4, elite rebounder. What I'm worried about with that is there's a lot of um, defensive attributes, not enough. I think we would lose on the scoring side.
I mean, I maybe that's what they're saying. I'm gonna tell you, I've seen Shangoon play, and I think he's a scorer. Now, this year he has taken a step backwards, but Kevin Durant was on the team, and they kind of switched their style. I think that Shangoon can score. I think I I don't know. To me, I've heard a lot of like, if we get rid of Paulo, if we get rid of Franz, uh, hey, if we got rid of Franz and Suggs, packaged them together, and we gave them to and we got Shangoon for that, and now you're talking about Shangoon, Paulo, and Bain. Okay, okay, I could see that happening as well.
This is what I'm looking at. When you look at Bain, maybe not as good, but I'm going Ray Allen.
Okay.
I look at Pierce, Franz. Who's KG?
Yeah.
Would you be if we did a trade
Mhm.
and maybe try to get Durant? Could that be our KG?
I'm not sure who would want Kevin Durant at the price that has been set for Kevin Durant. And all you're doing is hiring a mercenary for 1 year. That's the biggest problem. Like, he has been in 3 teams in 3 years. They give up the farm, they trade away assets, and they don't get better because KG's coming. Here's the worst part about Kevin Durant, and here has been his problem his whole entire career. He doesn't make anybody better. So you need to have the guys in place, and they need to be solidified, and they need to be themselves because he's not going to come and make them better. He might come and make them worse. What just happened this year with Brooks in Phoenix? He almost wins a scoring title. Why? Because KG left and he can go back to being himself, the player that he was. He doesn't have to step back for KG because if KG's Durant's not KG, Kevin Durant's crazy ego. I don't know who would want that cancer in their locker room, but I know I'd rather lose without him than win or try to win with him because I think that just destroys the whole team.
The thing I know about the Magic is I think they're going to do almost nothing. They're going to get a coach. Yeah, there's some pieces that they may not resign, little guys, little guys, little guys. And they may get a veteran here, one, two. But I think they're going to run it back with exactly what they have. And
Yeah.
my thing is, I don't think we should. I think maybe people think I'm crazy, but I think we should go and say, hey, we got to get rid of Suggs. Good trade bait. Batazi's even good trade bait. Wendell Carter's good trade bait.
Yeah.
Black is good trade bait. Just alone, if you went and did that alone, Wendell, Batazi, Jet Howard,
Don't you forget about Jonathan Isaac.
Isaac. For me, Isaac is not even trade bait. You know what I mean? But I'm saying right there, if you just took all those players, you could get something back. Even if you came back with Bain, Paulo, Franz.
The guys I would come back with is Paulo, because I think you're right. I think we're locked in, right? I think that the trade for Bain locked us into, at the very least, the core. So I think we've got Franz, Bain, and Paulo. I think they're locked. I would keep Anthony Black because I've saw in him this year an improvement, and I would like to see where that goes. I would keep Anthony De Silva because I saw an improvement in his game, and at the very least, he's just not Franz, but a very good representation of that, right? And I would bring back the kid, Kane, who gave us a lot of defensive juice and a lot of athleticism during the playoffs. I don't want to end this conversation without saying his name because I was so impressed coming from the G League, coming from Osceola Magic, who we've gone and we've supported, we've talked about. I was so impressed with him. There's another guy in the Orlando Magic G League who's a big guy. I forget his name, big white guy who can score the bucket a ton. And that might be the next call up once we trade Wendell Carter. I think this kid could come up. And if we're talking about true spacing of the floor, this guy could space the floor. This is a different kind of big. And you know what I mean? So I agree with you. I don't think there's going to be much changes. But if 25% of the Magic changes this offseason and we get one new starter out of it, I think that would be a good start. With a coaching change, with a philosophy change, I think that would be a good start.
And I think if they were to get somebody, just one, just one, I would put all my chips in getting Simon. I think that would be a point guard that can change, not really Sexton, but I think Simon. Young enough, I think he's strong enough. I think that would do a lot to change, get the ball. Franz could work with the ball, but get the ball out of his hands. We don't need him pushing the ball up half the time.
I like that. Guys, tell us what you think. Tell us what you think the Magic need. No. Don't tell us that. Tell us what you want. That's what we're about.
Yeah.
What do you want?
Yeah, we're not talking about, oh, are they free agents, bird rights, this, that. We're just talking. We're not going into all the logistics and the money and the draft and who this, that, this, and the other. We're just talking like fans. If you're Orlando Magic fans, I don't think they're far off. They showed us taking the first seed, taking it to them. They should have beat them. They should have made that. That should have been news, but they didn't. And I think they didn't because they were missing the shooting that they needed. And I think they deserve the presence of a veteran that goes, we cannot stop.
And we cannot deny coaching played a part in that loss.
I think so
because there was no adjustments made. When we were throwing up absolute garbage, we kept on going with the same guys. We went, remember the Titans on them. We kept on with the veer offense. We did not do it. We ran the same plays, split P, and it always works like Novocaine. And it didn't because we were missing everything. And we had guys on our bench that we had cultivated all year for this exact thing that we did not bring in. We did not make any change, any adjustment. We didn't see Mo Wagner not once, Penda not once, Jed Howard not once. I mean, it was the same guys, and that was what we were going to get. And we knew it, and Detroit knew it. Roy, I think for now this subject is done, but it will not be forgotten, and it will be brought back up when the draft happens. But for now, tell the people what we want them to do every single day.
Talk to a stranger about sports today. Sign up, like, subscribe. It don't hurt. Thank you very much, friends.